MS, how important was this workout for the Indian team after being under pressure initially and then the 196 run partnership that you put up with Suresh Raina?
I think it couldn't have been better in the sense, you know, if you're playing the last game of the league stage and if you get an easy win, you don't get a lot out of that game. What was good was the spinners were put under pressure, and also we lost quick wickets initially, and that actually put our middle and lower middle order under pressure. So we gained a lot out of it. Winning, of course, was very important, but the knock by Raina was very crucial. Coming at number 5, more often than not, you don't get an opportunity. You get into bat maybe after the 38th, 39th over if your top order is batting well, and you have to slog it out. So you play the big shot, you get out, you don't score too many runs, and at the end of the day, when you get into the knockout stages, you want to have runs under your belt. It doesn't really matter how many runs, but once you get going, it just gives you that good feeling, which I feel is important in the knockout stages. So overall, that's one of the main reasons why I would say it was a good game for us. And all the batsmen also, they were under pressure. It was doing a bit and started to stop a bit also. And their bowlers, I felt they exploited it. They were bowling slow. They were using the slower deliveries really well. So overall, a good game.
MS, your average in a successful run chase is the best in this world. It's more than 100. Can you give an advice to young budding cricketers as to what exactly do you do? How do you change your mindset when you're chasing a difficult target?
I think, what's important is to break the number of runs into small criteria. You may say, okay, next 2 or 3 overs, let's look for 10 runs or 15 runs or even 8 runs, if someone is bowling really well. But at the same time, it's still a team effort. You can't really miss out the fact that, somebody like a Raina, how he batted in the other end also eases up the pressure from me. And he has done it quite a few times. Him, Yuvraj, there have been instances where I batted with Virat. I've done that with Gautam also. So I feel what is really important, to chase down targets is if one is acting slightly cold, the other one has to take over, and you have to run well between the wickets. That's the key factor. You can't always rely on the big shots. The reason being, yes, you get sixes and boundaries playing the big shot, but if you're batting at number 6, there's only maybe one batsman after you, and that actually puts pressure. So, the top 1, 2, or 3, they can play their big shots because they know there are 4 or 5 batsmen behind them. But when you go in at 6 or 7, you have to think maybe 3 times, before you play the big shot. So that itself puts a lot of pressure on you. But I feel, when there's a partnership going, 2 batsmen batting, I feel the key is for both of them to run well between the wickets and to make sure that when they get a loose deliveries, to get the most out of that delivery. And it's most preferred to be a boundary because there's less chances or less risks involved. And ultimately, once you break the big score into small targets and you start achieving those targets, it just keeps giving you confidence. It may be 10 or 12 runs or 15 runs, but you gain confidence out of every target that you achieve. So overall, you keep breaking it down and in turn put the pressure back on the opposition.
Captain, you said, as you said, the most of the batsmen have got runs, fast bowlers have done well. Is the form of Ravindra Jadeja the only concern that you carry into the knockouts?
Well, I think to some extent you may say it's a bit of a concern, but at the same time, as I said, if you're worried about Raina in the sense, he has not got enough chance to bat, but he has still done decently well. It's difficult to go down further because then you come to me and say, okay, maybe you have batted a bit, but Jadeja has not got much chances to bat. And also, it's not easy, to just get in and slog over here. Only the bowling, I think he has bowled decently well, in patches. He's still improving. And overall, he's a key ingredient. The reason being, it gives us that hope and, we have put in a lot of effort and time in him, since the last World Cup. He has been a regular part of the team and he has actually done really well for us. So, I'm quite happy with the way he's bowling. Like I won't really consider today's game because both Ashwin and him, they went for shorter boundaries. It is difficult, and the way Taylor was batting, it took them on. So overall, quite happy with how they have bowled, both the spinners and also Jadeja. But if would have got a chance to bat also, it would have made it slightly easy for him, but you can't really have control over that.
MS, you have said previously that when you're chasing, you want to keep pushing the odds till it's in your favor when you start taking risks. At what point was it today that you felt, the game is in your favor, and when you've realized that you've got the game?
What's important is to make the margin narrow, the number of deliveries to the number of runs that's needed. And at times, when you have wickets in hand, you actually try to relate to a IPL scenario. What's a good difference? I won't like to say what's a good difference. It's our theory. So if you are matching that, you are in a good position. And then you have to see which bowlers are supposed to bowl, if you have a shorter end, and all of those things, it plays a factor, which bowler is bowling well, who you can target. So it's a mixture of everything. It sounds very complex, but when you are in those circumstances, more often than not, it's the subconscious that really works hard. So you don't have to put a lot of thinking behind it. It's the brain that keeps working. It's just that you have to communicate well with the other batsmen, and you fix targets as to next 2 or 3 overs where you want to be. What over we won? Maybe 1 over before that.
Looking forward to the quarterfinal stage. I mean, last time you were under intense pressure because of the expectation at home. Is the team feeling a little bit more liberated or less stressed because you're playing away from home this time?
We have the same kind of pressure. I've said it so many times, irrespective of which team we play or which tournament we play, we are under pressure. So the good thing, the boys are quite used to it. A few times there have been instances where we are down, but from that position also we have come back strongly and we have done well. So I think from an experience point of view, there may not be too many people in the team who have played 200 or 250 games, but the fluctuation in our performance in the last few years, including the test performance, it just pushes the guys to know ways as to how you can get out of pressure, if there's constant pressure on you, and how you can still perform and keep the morale high.
Last 4 in English.